Good afternoon, and thank you, all of you, for coming to this ceremonial budget signing. I want to thank our City Council President Sherry Leitner, Council members Todd, Gloria, Myrtle, Cole, Chris Kate, and Council member Lori Zaff for joining me here today. I also like to thank members of our hard-working financial management team for their tremendous amount of work in putting together this One San Diego budget. In particular, I want to thank our Chief Financial Officer, Mary Lewis, our Financial Management Director, Tracy McCraner, and Deputy Director, Matt Vesby. Them and their entire team did a remarkable job over the last several months. As you know, we are standing in front of the new Skyline Hills Branch Library. You might have seen that Councilmember Cole was particularly proud of that fact. But look, we came together, and when we broke ground on this important neighborhood project just last October, and in just a few months, we're all going to be back here to officially open the doors of this beautiful library for this community. And this project is a shining example of what we've been working on, all of us, to accomplish over the last several years. Investing in neighborhood upgrades, building new libraries and fire stations, expanding operating hours at libraries and rec centers, and creating more opportunities for our residents to improve their lives. Whether it's our communities, our economy, or our environment, we're all working together to lay that foundation for a better future. And we're doing it together. Republicans, Democrats, with the second unanimous budget approval in a row. How about a three-peat next year? I'm ready for that, guys. Thank you very much. But by signing the budget today, which I'm going to do in just a second, we're continuing the momentum that all of us have been working on to get our city back on track. So let me take just a second to recap what's in this budget, because there's a lot of good news for San Diego neighborhoods. We're putting more than $100 million towards street repair, nearly triple the amount of funding than when I first took office. More than $400 million in infrastructure investment, the highest amount in a decade. And believe me, the investments that we're making in our neighborhoods is real. This beautiful Skyline Hills Library is living proof. And this budget, of course, includes funding to staff and operate this library when it opens this fall ahead of schedule. Let me repeat that. We're going to open this beautiful library ahead of schedule. This is the direct result of the reforms that we have made to speed up infrastructure projects, cut red tape, and more efficiently spend taxpayer dollars. This beautiful library is just one of many neighborhood investments in this budget. And back to the budget for a second, because it is focused on projects and programs, together with my colleagues on the City Council, that we made a priority that improves people's lives. It includes millions of dollars to fix and build new sidewalks so our kids can walk to school more safely, and millions more to repair and install streetlights so our communities are safe at night, rec centers that are open longer so our families have a place to play, and their park and playground improvements that will be coming to every single neighborhood across our great city. And we're focusing on those communities that traditionally have not received their share of city services, where we're designing several new parks. And we're also investing in infrastructure repairs and maintenance in San Diego's crown jewel in our park system, Balboa Park. And we're going to have better lighting, grounds maintenance, improvements, and the rehabilitation of Balboa Park's old library building, just to name a few. And we're putting more resources in this budget to keep up with demand for the popular Do Your Homework at the Library after school program, a program that we started 2 years ago that's already given thousands of students access to a computer and a safe place to study when class gets out in the afternoon. This budget will continue to fund academies to hire more police officers and firefighters, and $4.7 million to address recruitment and retention issues for our police officers and our 911 dispatchers, so we can continue to restore police staffing and get our 911 dispatch service back to acceptable levels. We need to do it. We are doing it. We're going to get it done. And there's big capital projects to ensure that we have a safe, reliable, and more affordable water supply. Clean and renewable efforts to reduce greenhouse gases and preserve our world-famous environment by implementing San Diego's landmark Climate Action Plan. Programs that will make city government more transparent and accountable to the public. And initiatives to improve customer service so it's easier to get help from the city online or over the phone. And for the first time ever, I was proud of the work that we did to create the city's new pension stability reserve. I think many of us have seen over the last decade how we've seen that massive pension payments, especially when combined with a weak economy, had wreaked havoc on city budgets. And as a result, rec center hours had to be slashed, fire stations didn't get built, and potholes weren't filled. Those were tough decisions that were made in order to keep our city afloat, because a previous generation of city leaders did not do the right thing and put special interests above neighborhood interests. Thankfully, we are in better financial times, and we set new standards for fiscal restraint and accountability. And the responsible thing that we are doing while we are investing in neighborhoods now is we are saving for the future. This new reserve fund will help protect against future budget cuts to neighborhood services if and when pension costs rise unexpectedly. There's a lot of good news in this budget. It was a good news based upon a lot of the hard work. If you see many of the folks behind me and a whole team back throughout the city that have invested a lot of time and hours. And it really marks the third straight year of making significant investments in San Diego's neighborhoods. Again, I want to thank my colleagues on the council. Worked very collaboratively with each and every one of them. I want to thank our council president, Sherry Leitner, and all of the members of the council. I particularly want to thank our council budget chair, Todd Gloria, in his 6th and final year as budget chairman. Todd, great job, my friend. Try to get this across the finish line. He's ready to go to Sacramento now and do some different stuff. Am I allowed to say that? I'm not sure. But this is why I think that you saw the budget adopted unanimously, because we really tried to set that tone of collaboration and work together as a City Hall team. So I support the amendments that were made by the council to the budget yesterday. They added more dollars for arts and culture to bring the total to more than $15 million, and included additional trash collection for the Mission Beach neighborhood. City Council also directed the city to use more than $1.3 million in its next bond issuance to restore the historic Botanical Building in Balboa Park, all of which we are going to do. So I look forward to continuing this collaborative spirit as we move our city forward together. To all of you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for working hard. Thank you for working together for a budget that we can be proud of, and for a budget that invests in every single neighborhood across this great city. And with that, I'd like to introduce some of my council colleagues to say a few words. We'll begin with Council President Sherry Leitner. Sherry?
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor Faulconer. I'm pleased to be here for the signing of the final FY17 budget. First, as the mayor mentioned, we owe a huge thank you to all of our city staff for their work during the budget process. As I'm sure you've heard, a tremendous amount of time goes into preparing the budget each year, and our staff deserve special acknowledgement for their efforts. I'd also like to thank our Budget Committee Chair, Councilmember Gloria, my council colleagues, and the Office of the Independent Budget Analyst. Yesterday, the council unanimously passed the FY17 budget, which also demonstrates the thoughtful collaboration of my colleagues. Collaboration like this is unprecedented. I'm proud that we've been able to achieve a unanimous budget approval for the second straight year. I don't know what you all are going to do next year, but I think you could go for a third one. Can you do that? Yes, we can. Yes. We've approved a budget that continues the restoration of neighborhood services and addresses critical public safety and infrastructure needs. We've also approved a budget that will increase funding for the library and Penny for the Arts. These programs are vitally important to our quality of life as well as our economy, and we owe it to our communities to provide these programs. They will benefit diverse and underserved groups and help San Diego educate our youth, prepare the next workforce, and maintain our position as a world-class destination for arts and culture. I was pleased with the funding allocation for the implementation and enforcement of the Earned Sick Leave Minimum Wage Ordinance, and once again, we will see an increase citywide in recreation center hours, swimming pool hours, youth services, and homeless services. In my own district, I was particularly happy to see funding for La Jolla Cove odor treatments and concrete street replacement. In my final year, I'd like to say it's truly been a pleasure working with my council colleagues to develop another great budget for the City of San Diego. Thank you again to everyone who has worked so hard on this. Now I'll turn it back to Mayor Faulconer with a hearty congratulations.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next up, as I mentioned earlier, a gentleman that has really worked tirelessly over the last 6 years to shepherd budgets through the city. Done a remarkable job. Councilmember Todd Gloria. Todd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council President, my council colleagues, and thank you all for being here today. I recognize that budget policy is probably not going to lead your 5 o'clock newscast, but this is important stuff. This is $3 billion of public money, taxpayer money, and the fact that we could pass this budget unanimously, I think, is a reflection of the fact that things are back to good at City Hall. I would just reflect on, like Council President Leitner, the fact that it's our last year at City Council. And what a difference 8 years make. Am I right, Sherry? You know, when Council President Leitner and I joined the City Council 8 years ago, we were dealing with a roughly $200 million budget deficit. We were asking employees to take 6% pay cuts. Our reserves were low. Services were being slashed. And basically, we were not in a very good place. Fast forward to today, where we were able to restore many critical neighborhood services, make strategic investments, smart investments that will work well for our citizens, where our reserves are full and growing, and where we've paid our pension bill in full and on time for now 12 years in a row. I think that is worthy of applause. Our city's credit rating continues to increase, and obviously the collaboration, where we went from budgets that were often divided to one where two now, where everyone can agree, I think is a signal to our citizens that we're back on track and that the city is doing quite well. In this particular budget, thanks to an improving economy, we're able to make a lot of strategic investments that I'm quite proud of. Probably no more so than the investments we're making in Balboa Park. This is our city's crown jewel. It suffered like everything else during the recession and during the financial crisis. And yet, as the city's finances are being restored, we're making those smart investments that will allow people to continue to be proud of our city's crown jewel for its next 100 years. I'm particularly excited about the commitment to restore our world-famous iconic botanical building through an innovative public-private partnership where the taxpayers will pick up half the cost and philanthropy will pay the other half. I look forward to breaking ground on that particular project in the next year. Additionally, lots of additional funds for maintenance of the park and other strategic improvements. Suffice to say, I think we're responding to the demands of the public that we do right by our crown jewel, and I think we're doing exactly that. As the council president mentioned, there are additional investments in our Penny for the Arts blueprint, which will help our arts and cultural programs, as well as an investment in making sure that the 250,000 San Diegans who will benefit from our earned sick leave and minimum wage measure that was approved by 63% of voters last week will in fact be able to see those benefits in their paycheck within the next month or so. So a lot of good news here, but I think, again, it bears repeating that we've come a long way from where we were just a few years ago, and I think that is, in fact, newsworthy. And as has been mentioned by several to date, this is not an accident. This is a result of purposeful efforts by really well-intentioned public servants, led, of course, by our Chief Operating Officer, Scott Chadwick. Scott, thank you for your leadership of all of our city employees. We have 10,000 people who show up work every single day. They do an incredible job. They were there during the tough times. They're now there during the better times, and I'm glad this budget includes a little bit of help for them as well. And lastly, I want to thank my council colleagues who, if you wanted to look at how government should work, I'd encourage you to look at yesterday's budget proceedings, where Republicans and Democrats, we all came together to vote unanimously for a budget. No one got everything they wanted, but everyone got a little something that they needed. And that's that kind of collaboration that I think the taxpayers, the citizens, the voters of this community expect from us, and that's what this council has been delivering. I'm proud to have been a part of that effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker will be a council member that represents this fantastic district, who's been a leader in spearheading this beautiful library behind us, Councilmember Myrtle Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just look over my shoulders. Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she beautiful? That's how we roll in Council District 4. And we're talking about the library. That's what we're talking about. I am so excited, as you can see, to stand here today with Mayor Faulconer and my council colleagues for the fiscal year 2017 budget signing ceremony. I am thrilled to announce good budget news for the city. Today, we stand on the construction site of the new Skyline Hills Branch Library, a $13.8 million state-of-the-art library, which will open its doors in September of this year. The addition of 2 library positions included in the budget will provide operational support for residents in Council District 4. Additionally, this 15,500 square foot facility will include a community room, a computer lab, teen space, as well as public art for residents to enjoy. The construction crew has been working diligently throughout this year, and I want to commend them for all they have done. Thank you, construction crew. Cannot wait to come back for the ribbon cutting. This budget also includes $109 million in funding for street repair. And recently, city staff finished 250 miles of road improvements in just 11 months. And those were some in District 4 also. Because we've been sort of underserved before, but no, not anymore. Not under this mayor, not under this city council. So thank you so very much. With the help of this funding, we can improve roads and sidewalks at a faster rate, which will enhance the quality of life for all San Diego residents. Every community deserves to have the basic necessities to help people just not only survive, but to thrive. And that's what we're doing in Council District 4. This budget helps to achieve that goal. And again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council members. And thank you to everyone, especially you, Chad. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Councilmember Lori Zaff. Councilmember Zaff, thank you for all of your help and support, and particularly your work on Mission Beach yesterday. Come on in.
No prepared remarks because I don't have a whole lot to say other than, wow, this is the best budget I've seen in 6 years. We are responding to the demands of the public with their precious dollars that they give us here at the city to be good stewards of. And we are investing in core neighborhood services like the library behind me. If you look around the city, you're seeing roads repaired, sewer pipes being replaced. You're seeing so much work going on, and that takes a lot of, like Mr. Gloria was saying, a lot of employees coming out every day doing the hard work, and we're seeing the results, the fruits of all of that work. We're making big investments like the road, and then we're making the small investments like the $80,000 yesterday. We keep hearing about the fly in Mission Beach, but a small investment is going to make a huge impact at one of our top tourist destinations in getting rid of one of the pests, the flies that we've had for so many years. So I want to thank my council colleagues for that. That was, like I said, a small investment with a huge impact. But when I came here 6 years ago, we were just happy not to have to cut anymore. And so today, not only have we restored, but we've gone beyond that. And I'm just thrilled to be here and be a part of this great council that came together under the leadership of not just our mayor, but the wonderful leadership we have at our city, that we all work together and have this terrific budget. So we have after we sign this, there's going to be a lot of money to just start doing a lot of stuff. So thank you all very much.
Very good. Thank you. And our last speaker today, one of the newer members of the councils, but been tremendous supporter for a lot of the infrastructure and the changes that we've been making. Councilmember Chris Cate. Chris?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I want to, again, thank the mayor, our council president, our budget chairman, all of my colleagues, as well as all of our staff that's done an amazing job during the last 6 months or so during our budget liberation process. and I share in the mayor's vision for safer and revitalized neighborhoods. I'm proud of the positive position that San Diego's economy is in, but also about the careful approach that this budget takes in increasing services to our residents while protecting taxpayer dollars. It really is invigorating to see the city's devotion to core neighborhood services that truly help all San Diegans. And located in the heart of Claremont, the Claremont Senior Center provides activities and services to individuals over the age of 60. And I speak on behalf of all the seniors in District 6 when I say thank you to the mayor and the council for dedicating over $100,000 in funding to save Claremont's only senior center. This budget is a prominent investment in the communities and residents that help make San Diego a great place to live, work, and play. And residents will have access to recreation centers for expanded hours and enjoy additional park improvements they have so long been yearning for. And lastly, I'd like to applaud the mayor for his commitment to bolstering city streets and infrastructure, doubling of infrastructure funding and near tripling of streets funding since he took office. So again, it's great to be a part of this fantastic process with all my colleagues, and I appreciate all of the support that's been dedicated thus far, and I'm really happy to sign this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of the members of the council. Thank you to all of our department heads, our staff team, all of them who are here, numerous to mention and many that aren't here, but this is, as I said, a lot of hard work that goes into this budget. Thank you all for attending today's ceremonial signing, and with that, let's sign the budget. Thank you.